All aboard, Hearties! Welcome to Hope Valley Central Station.
Your transportation to Hope Valley with your conductors, Kerri
and Morgan. Hey, Hearties! Welcome back. So, we have a very interesting podcast episode for you guys, especially if you have just watched the episode 11. Pretty crazy stuff to talk about, don't you think? I mean, you know, wouldn't you say, Kerri? Kerri?
What? Oh, we're started?
Yes, we're started. You and your stinky teacup.
Sorry. Cheers.
All right, Mrs. Lucas Shard. While Kerri has her teacup, I have goldfish over here. So we can get down to this episode.
I suppose.
You can tell that we're very relaxed. You can tell we're very relaxed podcasters.
Yes, very. Oh boy. But yes, if y'all just watched episode 11 of season 8 like we did,
woo!
I think I might need that cup of tea back.
Yeah. We got lots to discuss.
Oh, my word. Okay. Can we just start with that opening?
Yes, please.
Oh, my word.
Please.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but you do not have to be a Team Nathan fan to feel the heat that came off of that opener. Woo! Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, I never saw her try and like y'all, like, there's so much I could talk about with that one thing. Like, first of all, how cute was he? Like, hiding the bouquet behind his hat, and then just like, that was adorable. And then her like nonchalantly saying that she could put some tea on and for him to just take a surge off, and he's like, huh?
I have to say that
was adorable.
Huh came simultaneously with Nathan's because I was like, what? I just
because that's like
the way his eyebrows shot up.
He's like, huh?
Yeah.
Someone actually made it into a gift on Twitter, and I want to save it to my phone, but I can't. It won't let me.
Oh yeah, that would be so cute. Like his expression. Sorry guys, I keep having people text me right now.
I know. I'm getting my phone blowed up over here too.
We're important people. What can we say? Price of fame.
And we picked. That's it. Show's over.
Okay.
Are you
Moving
okay, Kerri?
Yes.
Are you okay? You need to take a sip of your tea?
No, I would choke on it right now.
But guys, I mean, she got like, oh my God, they acted like such husband and wife in that scene. It's crazy how like comfortable they were in that scene. Yeah. How comfortable Elizabeth was doing that. And like,
it cracks me up to go back and rewatch it because I didn't catch it the first time, and then I haven't stopped watching the clip since. But
me either.
That Elizabeth, like, you know, she kind of like looks down, like, you know, she kind of got her hands like this, looks up at Nathan, and then like breaks eye contact, and he walks off, and she just kind of does that, like, girl, what are you doing? Like, just kind of.
Like, oh yeah, I forgot I'm dating another dude.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have been doing that. Like.
Yeah. The fact that there was no shock in Nathan's face whatsoever. Like,
he was not shocked at all.
Really smile.
But it was like, I'm not surprised at the same time because he says, I know you feel the same way I do.
Exactly.
So if anything, that was more confirmation to him that you got it bad, girl. You got it bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is better.
Yeah. And I feel
this
like
feels
that's
better.
a nod. That's a nod. Like, y'all, they keep each other warm.
Mm-hmm.
He gave her his blanket and she offered to warm his Serge up. And I was honestly kind of wondering, like, oh God, please do not. Like, I'm like Pascal putting on Twitter, like, she was waiting for Elizabeth to burn that Serge. I mean, we all know Elizabeth doesn't have the greatest track record with the fire.
This is true. This is true.
So,
I have to admit, like, for just a split second there when she asked him to take off the Serge, like, I didn't catch the context right when she said it.
I did. My jaw dropped
So,
a bit. I was like,
no, mine, like, when she asked him, my was almost like, wait, are you not wanting his red Serge, like, in your house? Like, are you not wanting to have to look at him in his red Serge in your house? So, like, for a split second there, I panicked.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of like, wait, what? This is really confusing. But then when she said, so I can warm it up for you, I was like, oh, okay. So I pretty much had the same reaction Nathan had, in all honesty.
I also thought, like, why would he want to take his red Serge off? That's literally probably the warmest thing he's got on, is that thick, like, Serge. And you want him to take it off so you can, like, why would he take it off? It's keeping him warm. And then she said, so I can warm it up. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
well, and random thought, but Jack had that, like, almost like a navy blue, like, real dark coat that he would wear over his Serge when it was cold. It was almost like a uniform Jack coat or something. But
I don't remember that. I'll have to go back and look at that.
Yeah, it was a really dark coat that he would wear. And I don't know, which we haven't had Nathan, like, during the winter, I guess. So
we really, like, I have noticed that we like, for instance, like, in the past, well, I mean, there's only been has it been 2 Christmas movies or just one with Nathan, and since Nathan Lucas has come on?
Just one, actually, I guess. So yeah, which I had honestly forgotten that.
Yeah, because season 6 was whenever baby Jack was born, so they've only had one Christmas episode with the boys actually in it, and I think we only saw Nathan once in the Christmas episode with his red Serge on.
I do not even remember.
I don't even think he was in there. Actually, I don't even think he was. I don't think he did, because I think whenever he said that he had to go on his rounds, he was still in his civilian clothes and he had to go change. I don't think we've seen him once in his red Serge during the Christmas. So
y'all can see how much we analyze this stuff, like,
right. We're going all the way back to the Christmas episode that's all the way back in season 7.
Yeah.
Trying to make sure, like, wait, we haven't seen Nathan in like winter clothes. Like, is that really a big deal? Like, we're so
apparently it is.
Apparently it's a big deal to us.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just like, but yeah, and then, like, the fact that she, like, I don't know about anybody else, but it kind of, like, threw me when she was like, when she actually offered Nathan a pair of Jack's old gloves.
Mm-hmm.
That was like, wow. Because, like, that's Jack's gloves. That's her husband's gloves that she's offering to Nathan, of all people. Like, if it was Bill or Lee or, someone else like that, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. But with the fact that it was Nathan, and he's offering Nathan Jack's Mountie gloves, like, to me, that was significant.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like that was a small little seed.
Hands seem to have a really, sorry, I'm like, my hands are getting long. Yeah. But hands seem to be a really big deal.
Yeah.
In this season, I'm not really sure,
especially around Nathan and Elizabeth, because like, everyone's been honing in on, like, the hand holding and the finger, like the small little finger
touch.
Yeah, touch that they had, and then of course the 2 hand holds and all of that kind of stuff. So it's definitely has been.
We know from pictures from episode 12 that Nathan's hand gets hurt. So
the significance of it, we don't know yet. We don't know how serious it is.
I don't know.
Which we'll get to that whenever we get towards the end of this podcast. We don't need to jump the gun and go down a rabbit hole. But this is definitely my favorite scene of the season, probably the series, because like it really, to me, it's like getting past the, oof.
Is there a way to get past that? Because I haven't figured it out yet.
I'm trying
just thinking about it, I find myself doing this right here, and I'm like, I feel like it's an involuntary reflex, like.
Because
okay, we got the unbuttoned surge, and then we got take off the surge to the unbuttoned Henley to button up the surge again. Hey,
going back to like, if any of you watched Kevin's podcast episode of with Kevin and Kayla, Kevin literally says it's like between your ankles showing, pointing to Kayla, and your button, Paul, because Paul usually has that another extra button unbuttoned on his shirts. If you go back and watch, he kind of has more of a button unbuttoned than anybody else on the show, at least in the main cast. And between you two, we're this close to going past the PG rating, and I'm over here like,
Kevin,
you want to talk about buttons? You have had 2 episodes in one season of you having your surge unbuttoned. And you're talking about their ankles and Paul's one extra button when you fully take off the surge? Okay, hypocrite. I mean, I know he obviously couldn't talk about that scene in the podcast because it hadn't come out yet, and it's obviously a big spoiler.
Yeah, big.
But I'm just over here because I rewatched that episode. I don't know why I did, but I'm glad I did because that was brought up in the podcast episode. I watched it today, and I was just like, "Are you serious?" I had to say those 2 scenes knock out Fiona's ankles and Paul's one little measly button.
Yeah,
like big time.
Sorry, Kayla. Your ankles have nothing on Kevin's unbuttoned Henley.
Sorry. I think she would gladly agree with us. I think that she herself would gladly agree. For crying out loud, y'all, Chris McNally put on there, yeah, Nathan, take it off. And I was like, Chris! Oh my God. I can't. He full on tweeted, yeah, Nathan, take it off in big capital letters. I was like, yes. Oh my God. And Aaron Craig over here using the Jim Carrey gif of him just like doing this, and it's like his clothes rip off and he's just in his underwear. And I'm like, Aaron, that is not a PG gif. Or gif or whatever you say. It's like, what is happening in Hallmark? They're just like, forget the PG rating. Just forget it. Forget it.
I mean, I'll just say it. That scene, I have to say, almost if it did not top Jack and Elizabeth's first kiss to me.
Oh, it topped it. It topped it. I'm sorry, it topped it.
So Brian Bird said that there's going to be a moment in the season finale that tops everybody's favorite moment in season 1, which is obvious, the kiss, the first kiss.
Which means that I feel like that means it's going to be that Nathan and Elizabeth's first kiss is going to be better than Jack and Elizabeth's first kiss. And I'm just going to go ahead and say it's going to be Nathan because we've had this discussion, Kerri.
Kevin and Kerri knows how to kiss, y'all. I am just saying. Y'all do not come to this podcast
Chris.
to hear
Chris. We have no, like, we're not saying you're a bad kisser, Chris, if you ever do stumble upon this podcast episode. But there is more significant evidence of Chris, of Kevin being a better kisser than Chris.
I
like,
just want to throw this out there.
Film-wise, like, if,
yes.
like, film-wise, obviously we have not kissed him. What does this podcast episode turn to? What has it turned into? Oh my God.
Y'all do not come to this podcast for sanity or political correctness, okay? Y'all come to this
all
podcast.
of you can agree with us. I guarantee you all of us will agree with us.
Angie, Nicole, Lydia.
We're looking at y'all. We're looking at y'all because we know
Amy, Cranny.
We know. We see you.
Guys, this is not all just us. Okay, when we get on here, we have literally been in group chats with like 5 other people.
Yeah.
Our
phones are blowing up right now because they're in the group chat. Talk about who knows what right now.
Yeah.
So, and our lives even, I think we literally did a whole live conversation about who's the better kisser.
We did.
And I mean, and we had people
looking up videos on YouTube.
We were literally on YouTube, like searching up Kevin McGarry's best kisses and like specific scenes in specific movies that he has done, where it's like, okay, yeah, definitely.
The man knows how to kiss.
That man knows how to put on a show kiss. So,
oh my God. If Fiona and Lucas get together, Kayla will be able to tell us which one actually is the better kisser. I did not just go there.
Kerri! Oh my God! I think that she would also kind of more root for her boyfriend.
I don't know. I feel like sometimes she says the opposite just to pick on Kevin.
Yeah, she did do a lot of that in Paul's podcast interview.
Yeah.
Like she was like
crying.
I swear, you guys literally the majority of the time we're just like, you guys are like literally just watching a video of us laughing. Oh my God.
I think this episode's gonna be basically a Kevin McGarry fan episode. It's pretty much what this is gonna be. Where's Bella with her tagging Kevin while we're doing this? Well,
okay. Back to the episode, because we obviously went down a really twisted, weird rabbit hole there. I think what I love most about that scene was that it just showed you just how natural that they went into like the husband and wife role.
Yeah.
You know, she went automatically into her nurturing wife, motherly, like, you know, taking care of her husband, making sure her husband was, you know, kind of vibe. I kind of got that from it, and I loved it. And I loved Nathan in this scene because he was very playful, very sweet, relaxed. I feel like they were both really relaxed.
I don't know. This is something that we've mentioned on our podcast before. If we have, I don't remember it. But some people might not realize that's the first time. Okay, this is the third time that Nathan has been in Elizabeth's house. This is the first time he's been in her house in Surge. And this is the first time the red Surge has been in Elizabeth's house since Jack.
Yep.
So y'all can't tell me that's not significant.
That is totally significant. Totally significant.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she even went as far as offering him a pair of Jack's Mountie gloves.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can't tell me there's no significance there, because you're clearly not watching the same show I am if you don't see the significance.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I'm trying to think of some of the other scenes besides that. I don't want to just talk about the triangle. I want to talk about the other storylines that are obviously happening too. Mm-hmm. So we find out this episode that the Canfields have moved out of their cabin, which used to be Gowan's. It's now been bought by the Pinkertons, or whoever the Pinkertons are working for. And they have now moved into a row house. I wonder whose row house. I guess Florence's, because I assume that Florence has now moved out of the row house and is now moved in with Ned. Because
can you imagine how much work those poor set designers have to do? Because there are only 2 row houses left, guys. So anytime, like when we saw Rosemary walking off of her porch and there's another row house on the other side of her, they would have about had to have actually used Elizabeth's row house for that particular clip.
Yeah.
And like just made it look like it was there. So I mean, like all the different, like we've had the inside of Nathan's row house, we've had the inside of Elizabeth's row house, of Rosemary and Lee's row house.
And there's not that many row houses. If you look, there's literally only 2 row houses. They literally use green screens and they use specific
CGI.
CGI, green screens, and like specific camera angles to make all the other row houses. So, which I have to say, that must be a job to do. So yeah, I would think that it would be Florence's, I guess, that they're moving into, because I feel like all the other minors' wives are still, because Elizabeth moved into, obviously Elizabeth has Abigail's, because Abigail has the cafe house, or now Clara and Jesse. And then, of course, Lee and Rosemary have theirs that they used to belong to Kat, right? Because Kat's no longer there.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, Kat's, Emily is still there. So in theory, Kat's still in town.
Oh, yeah, I forgot who Emily and I forgot who Rosemary and Lee, like what row house they took.
I do not remember, in all honesty. But while we're talking about the Canfields moving into their new row house, how cute was Bill and Lee?
Like, we get it, you're back, we get it.
Yeah, there's a lot of your stuff. Like, just give me some help.
And then Bill freaking out, he's like, Lee, and he like runs out and he's like, like, he wasn't helping you. Why are you freaking out?
Yeah,
what you need him for?
Yeah.
But I wonder what the Canfields, because they obviously cut something out, or I missed something in the last episode. Like, what was Joseph supposed to be doing with Lucas?
I have no idea.
Like, he had to talk to Lucas, because they must have cut. They must have had to cut a scene or something, because like I totally missed where Joseph was having to do something for Lucas.
Yeah, or if somebody remembers something, we don't comment below.
Yeah, if you remember Joseph and if you remember Joseph and Lucas having a specific conversation about something, let us know. But yeah, I don't remember that kind of conversation happening.
Also, I called it. Rosemary's starting a newspaper. I called it 100%.
I agreed. I said I said that it was either going to be maybe a newspaper, or she might become like a
investigator.
An investigator, yeah, which would be hand in hand.
Yeah,
which would go like hand in hand,
because she's just a little bit nosy.
A lot of bit nosy.
I was waiting on it. Yeah.
How adorable is it that now, like, we're gonna definitely see some really funny scenes with Rosemary Lee now that they're sharing an office together, y'all.
Oh yeah.
Like, we're already seeing little bits of like her moving stuff around, her grabbing the lamp, unplugging his lamp on accident, all that kind of stuff. Him having to really leave the office because he can't work with her in there because he's just like scattered.
Which is why he just gave her own space so she can already do that, and he'll move his stuff over to this little desk in the corner and let her do her thing. He's fine.
Poor Lee.
He's the sweetest.
He's the sweetest though, because he knows that it's going to be kind of difficult to work now having her in there, but he will do anything and sacrifice.
He loves her so much
in order to make her happy and make her feel good and make her feel needed and wanted, and
I think a lot of that
he's her biggest fan.
He is,
he's her biggest fan.
So he knows that she can be annoying, at times, and she can be a pain, but he also knows her heart, and he knows she's a very good person, and that she only does things with the best of intentions.
Exactly. She always does it with the best intentions and wants the best for people. That's why she's nosy. That's why she's always giving advice. That's why she's always kind of, and that's why I know a newspaper is definitely the best route for Rosemary to go. And I'm actually really excited about and we're obviously fixing to see her first newsletter come out. It's coming up episode, so that's gonna be fun.
Yep.
Good. I'm sorry. Guys, it keeps hitting me that we literally only have one episode left, and then that's it for season 8. That's it.
Just that.
Like, and it's been so crazy because all of us have been like walking on eggshells because for me, this is the first time I've watched watched When Called Heart live in a while. Probably since maybe season 3. So I'm sitting here it's felt so long and drawn out, but at the same time, it's gone by so quick at the same time. And it's like, wow, what are they going to jam into this episode like this? Because there's still so much stuff up in the air, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody threw out this theory, and I don't remember where I saw it. I know it was on Instagram, but I don't remember who had posted it or shared it, whatever. I don't remember. But obviously, we know that Jesse has gone missing in episode 11. Well, if he knows the mountain like the back of his hand, you would think he would have made it home by now. So what do you think the likelihood is of the Pinkertons having him hostage?
I was going to say that he's in that house. Why else wouldn't they just because if they weren't hiding anything, why wouldn't they just let Nathan search the area and be like, see, there's nothing here. There's no reason why you should be here.
I think Jesse stumbled on something he shouldn't have stumbled on.
Because I think he saw Wyman. I think he saw that man and he was like, I got you now. You're giving me back my money. And then the Pinkertons grab him you're not supposed to be here. And
and
Jesse obviously puts up a little bit of a fight. Yeah. I like sassy Nathan.
Oh, same.
I like sassy Nathan.
What was it he said? You can count on it.
Yeah. He's like, are we gonna be? You and I are gonna be into? Are you and I gonna have some trouble? And he's like, you can count on it. And I was like, yes, sassy Nathan.
Yes. And Bill had his.
He shoved those golf clubs in that man's arms, and he's like, get out. I was like. Yeah.
Speaking of Bill, I loved that we had the conversations between him and Elizabeth this episode. It might not have had anything to do. Yeah, same. It might have
nothing to do with
Nathan.
Nothing to do with Lucas. Just it's literally her coming to Bill because she needs Bill's help with the school.
And even him telling her, basically, they've got the law on their side, but if you decide to fight this, I'll be by your side every step of the way.
And that's so Bill.
It is, and I love it.
I love it too.
Bill has become the father of Hope Valley.
Oh yeah,
I adore
100%, 100%. And I love the scene of speaking of that, going off that note. Bill has Lee has acted like such a big brother to Jesse and Clara, and him wrapping that coat around Clara and trying to get her out and everything like that. And of course she sees Wyman Walden or whatever, however you say his name. Oh my gosh, they chose the most difficult name for this dude. And Nathan being very hesitant also about letting them have that discussion because he's like, it's obviously that this dude's crafty and you need to watch it, but yeah. And her coming to Nathan and begging him what is going on, where is my husband, and Nathan just being we're trying, I understand that this is difficult for you. I can't imagine I'm sure it's even going past, and I'm sorry, but I guarantee you it's going inside that Nathan's head that here I am again, a husband lost and a wife here needing her husband back. So yeah,
crazy. I mean, this episode, we were in our little group chat throughout the entire episode, and everybody was freaking out except me, and I was like the sane one over there going like, y'all are nuts.
I mean, I wasn't freaking out as much.
No,
I freaked out about specific scenes because I was like, why did they choose like the second to last episode to put all these bad guys all in one episode? We get the Pinkertons, we get Wyman Walden, we get Mr. Landis, we get like all of these people who are all, like the county apparently is also involved, and it's like, oh my god, every bad guy is just crawling out of the holes. Like, what is going on?
To be fair, there were a couple of scenes that I did freak out over, but I am more just picking on the people who were freaking out the entire time.
Yeah, she likes to pick on us when she knows good and well that she also freaks out.
Not as much as y'all. I mean, seriously, that like when we get on our lives, but
I don't freak out that much. I'm like, me and Kerri both have been like one of these people that literally will go and just like we won't say anything until like the episode is through, and even then we're like, you know, once we get a good night's sleep, once we watch the episode at least 4 or 5 different times, we're good. We've got everything down pat.
Yeah. How cute was Fiona in this episode too?
She was like, I loved her. Like, I loved how she like when she was like landing on Nathan's desk, and then he finally came up. She's like, "Where have you been?" Like, hello.
Yeah, like she was bossing him around. Yeah.
She was like, "You're supposed to be chained to this desk. Okay, you're a Mountie. Stop going out." Like, I need you here.
I'm sorry, I was totally seeing just Kevin and Kayla shining through in that scene. Not just.
I was like,
okay, they're adorable.
Like, I wonder how many takes it took Kayla to be able to do that scene, because like she was so serious. Like, Fiona was very serious, and that's not. I feel like because Kayla talked about in her interview with Paul and Kevin, she's like, every scene I've had with him, I've like busted out laughing. I like uncontrollable giggle fits.
Yeah,
like I can just imagine her like going into giggle fits, and Kevin's just like, I don't know what to do. It's not me. I don't know what to do. Like, I can't stop her from laughing.
It is you.
It's just like, it is you. It's your stupid face. Like, I can't. And like, he's trying, and she's just like, I can't with you. I can't.
Yeah.
Like, I can't.
And you know, he was probably at certain points like making faces at her or something, like just making it harder. They are the cutest couple ever.
I mean, so adorable. I love it, and it's like what they like. I love that they're not hiding it, or like I hope they never have to feel like they need to hide it because of like. But I feel like the Hearties have been very supportive of their relationship.
Oh yeah,
like we love them. I'm speaking for me. I love them together.
Oh yeah, same.
But I loved Fiona. She was very once again. She was fierce. She was proud. She was, you know, she had a little bit of a rockiness in like inside her. But I can understand that because she literally just got told by this man that he's going to buy her barbershop. And here she is going to have to go back to this like stuck up like high and mighty man being the owner of her shop, and her having to be under him instead of being her own boss.
Yeah,
you know.
And we found out something interesting about Fiona's past too.
She's been engaged before to a man.
Which brings up, I mean, I'm sorry. I hope
you didn't let me finish. Kerri, you interrupted me. So I started talking. I can't say anything. I interrupt you all the time. I'm sorry. She was engaged to a man who thought that, despite what her parents thought was good for her, insisted on buying her love. And that wasn't the part. Like, I could clearly see, like, I can't see Fiona just allowing a man to just buy her love and like spoil her and just, you know. No. And so that was kind of shocking to know, which I'm not shocked because, like, honestly, I'm surprised Fiona hasn't been in a serious relationship. Like, she's gorgeous, she's funny, she's, you know, sweet as can be. Just the perfect catch.
That to me, like, I know we want Fiona and Lucas together, and I'm sorry, but her and Hickom are also like adorable together.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong. I feel like you can't go wrong with
either way. No, you couldn't go wrong.
But it's kind of clear that she doesn't want to be with Hickom because, like, her face in the last episode, whenever he was like going to say, "I look at you as more than a friend" thing.
Yeah,
and you could just see the panic in her
face.
But
then, have you seen the Canadian preview for the finale?
I think so. I had to go back.
There's a little clip in there of, I don't know. Oh wow! Wait, Hickom's in a suit. This just dawned on me. Hickom's in a suit and tie. What's going on for Hickom to be in a suit and tie? That part like completely eluded me. But she's like straightening his tie and
it could be a business meeting. It could be like a business meeting for the pipeline he's trying to do with Fiona.
True.
So, and of course, Fiona's helping him because like Fiona knows about the pipelining thing idea that he's got because she's pretty much been the only one that he's told. But back to Fiona, like to me, that spoke volumes to me because it's like that's exactly the kind of woman that Lucas needs. Lucas needs a woman that's gonna straight up tell him like, stop with the fancy flowers, stop with the fancy dates, stop with all this. Like, you don't need to buy my love. You don't need to be doing all of these extravagant gifts for me. Like, I can care less.
Not your money.
I just want you. Yeah. I want you to talk to me. I want you to open up with me. I want you to actually, have a relationship with me.
And she's enough of a she'd stand up to him.
Yeah, she's a spitfire. She ain't gonna just she's got some spunk in her. She's got enough spunk to be like, I don't care who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm just going ahead and let you know you're wasting your money, you're wasting your time buying all of this and like putting all this stuff together. Like, you and Gustav, if you guys want to go, on your fancy dates, you go ahead with Gustav and have your fancy dates. I don't gotta have the fancy dates. So
yeah. I mean, but speaking of Lucas too, that was another little thing that Morgan and I were talking about earlier is the conversation between Carson and Lucas. Carson asked Lucas basically if he had ever felt like, despite his best efforts, something just wasn't meant to be, whatever. And Lucas said a few times.
So it kind of makes you wonder, like, has he been in the position before where he's like been in love with a woman or loved a woman or cared about a woman and like thought about like obviously wooing this woman and like being with this woman and then ultimately like failed at it because either she had another man in her life or his efforts just didn't work?
I don't know. I mean, it's just a thought out there because he did say a few times and not like once. Like, if he had only ever been in that position once, you would expect him to say once.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't have to.
And they mentioned the brass band, which kind of goes back to, I looked it up. I can't remember what it said though. Something along the lines of, what did I say it was?
That brass ring eluded me. Basically meaning like the high award or whatever, high prize.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I don't remember what the exact definition was, but yeah, it was something along those lines.
Or like living your best life or living like what's, your heart's desire and like going after it, not like going after it no matter the obstacles or whatever, or something like that. I think that kind of goes back to like, and it kind of, to me, whenever I heard him say that, it kind of goes back to how Helen Bouchard said that she was very shocked that Lucas had stayed in Hope Valley as long as he did, and he said that Elizabeth was the reason why. So I don't see Lucas leaving though.
No, I don't.
Because
that's something that they've said that
in interviews, like Erin's full on said nobody's leaving the show. Nobody's leaving, even though technically somebody is leaving the show. But I think she mainly
maybe not permanently. Maybe not permanently.
That's true.
Maybe the specific character will come back. So and we've yet to find out who that is because in pictures we were cracking up when the pictures came out for this because we were like, we know somebody's leaving, and every dang picture you see, somebody's got a suitcase. Like, is everybody leaving?
Hope Valley's gonna turn back into Coal Valley.
In Hope Valley.
Yeah. Because it does say in the synopsis that the town gathers around to say goodbye to one of their own and good luck.
To one of their own.
To one of their own and good luck.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if maybe one person gets the good luck and one person gets the goodbye. You know, it could be more than just one person, but I don't know. Personally, with this, like, let's go ahead and dive into that since we're right there. But I think Kevin and Jesse, wow. Clara and Jesse are going to go probably on a little vacation because obviously they've been spending literally this entire season just bickering. Mm-hmm. And like he has his little near-death experience. Mm-hmm. And Kara's, you know, finally waking up like, what's the point of me? Like, what's, like, she even said it in the episode, you know, like, we've literally been bickering this whole entire time. And for what? Mm-hmm. For what? Like, what's the reason? Why? Yeah. You know, so they're going to go on like a little much needed, maybe second honeymoon or whatever. And I feel like Ned's coming back. Ned's not leaving because we obviously found out in this episode that he had stayed behind at to do some business while they were out on their honeymoon.
Oh yeah, Ned's coming back.
Ned's coming back. He's got his little smile, little one suitcase. And then obviously it's still up in the air on whether or not Carson's leaving. I feel like he is. That's just me. I feel like he is. Whether it's permanent or not, I don't know. I guess that's up to Paul Green and the writers. And then it's still a possibility that Henry leaves. I'm slowly thinking that maybe he's not, but then again, like I can't you can't base off anything from the previews or the pictures because they're not going to do any of that. We've noticed that severely this episode, that you can't base everything off of the promos and stuff. So
although they do give some things away in the promos.
Yeah, they do still give some things away. Going back, Lucas and Elizabeth in the schoolhouse.
That was so awkward.
She did not want to be in that schoolhouse with him. She wanted him to leave, y'all. Mm-hmm. I could be exaggerating, but I don't think I am. Like, she was super uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. Super uncomfortable. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen her that uncomfortable. Especially not around Lucas. I can't remember,
no. I mean, which granted, she had like the school stuff on her mind and stuff with Mr. Landis, but still.
Well, not only that, like she was even trying.
It was the Hardy detective text me this morning and was like asking me basically. Let me just look it up. Hang on, because she had a really good point. That was in the wrong Instagram account.
Well, I mean, she did say that she was not very good company at the moment. She did say that, and he's like, I totally understand you're working, but really, like me, I automatically think, oh, it's not because she's working.
Mm-hmm. She asked, because she lives like in Denver, I think, or something like that. So she actually, yeah, she has actually not seen the episode yet, but she said, did Elizabeth seek out Lucas this episode? I know she went to the saloon, but wasn't that because of Superintendent Landis? And I said, you're correct. She said, okay, great. Then I don't think she has sought out Lucas after episode 8.
What?
That if Elizabeth did not seek out Lucas in episode 11, that means she has not sought out Lucas since episode 8. And she said they haven't had any PDA moments after that either, had they? I said, I don't think so. She's pretty much been avoiding him. The most PDA they've shown was the you look handsome and you beautiful at the wedding.
And wasn't episode 8 where she said that Nathan had confessed his love for her again?
Probably. I don't remember.
Because I remember that being like the last like significant conversation that they've had. Other than that, other than the time
that might have been episode 9.
It had been episode 9 that was the last time episode 8 was probably the last time they had actual like PDA, mm-hmm. Like being alone and like, you know, her patting the seat and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Wasn't that episode 8?
I think it was.
And episode 9 was the her telling him that she confessed his love for her again, and then episode 10 was obviously the wedding.
Yeah. She said, you can't count the chalkboard scene either, which you can't, because I mean, she was literally like just pulling away from him.
Yeah, she literally like cowered down and got away from him, and then like tried her best to like move around him without touching him.
Yeah. She said, so they have been drifting apart since the Fort Clay reveal.
Well, since she revealed to him that Nathan confessed his love not just once but twice. I mean, imagine you're dating this girl and she tells you that another man has told her twice that he loves her, and all she can say is nothing.
Well, I mean, she's really been pulling away from
Lucas more than she has
before
Nathan.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because,
and everyone always wants to talk about. I'm just gonna go ahead and say this. To all you Team Lucas fans, Elizabeth did not say no. She said, I can't.
She did that. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the second time that he said, I love you, she literally just says, I'm sorry, I have to go, and like leaves.
Yeah. Well, she said, excuse me.
No, she says, excuse me, and leaves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's not saying no. That's not giving him an answer at all.
Mm-hmm.
That's just her.
Well, I mean, really, if you think about it, okay, so would the Fort Clay reveal have been episode 8? Because the next episode
was the Bachelor Bachelorette. And then
episode 10. But Lucas sought her out in the school. She didn't seek Lucas out. Lucas sought her out in the school to go talk to her. And that's when she told Lucas about Nathan's Fort Clay secret.
Yeah.
And then he volunteered to talk to Nathan. She said, no, I'll talk to him myself. Well, then it was like that night or, whatever, or the day after the bachelor party is what I'm trying to say. Sorry, y'all, my brain like spaced out. But he's like, did you have a chance to talk to Nathan? And she was like, yeah, that's when she told him. But Lucas sought her out both of those times. But also, Elizabeth's not the one.
Okay, like the thing is like what was very substantial to me was this all this time Lucas has had it in his head that Nathan has been pursuing Elizabeth. Mm-hmm. Like, even after seeing him walk up to Nathan after the adoption whole fiasco, her like opening the conversation, which I understood, he probably figured like she had to like that conversation was needed because it was obvious that then I feel like they both assumed that was Nathan's doing and not Allie's. But going back to the Bachelor, going back to the wedding night before the ultimate like handhold and Nathan like the freeing Nathan from Survivor's Guilt, he literally accuses Nathan once again of pursuing Elizabeth and like pressuring Elizabeth and all this kind of stuff, just like Team Lucas has been doing this entire time. And you literally see Elizabeth
do what Team Nathan has been saying,
following him. Her taking a deep breath, then her eyes land on Rosemary. Rosemary gives her a knowing look, like, you love him, you do, like, just go, like, what we talked about. It's not his fault. You need to make sure he knows it's not his fault. So she goes and she taps her hand, and she taps on his shoulder, which goes back to Clara and Jesse's wedding, whenever she once again tapped him on the shoulder. And again, advancing to him, not him advancing to her. Mm-hmm. Something Team Nathan has been trying to tell people since day one. Yep. And that Team Lucas are putting blinders against because they just cannot think for 1 second that Elizabeth might actually have feelings for Nathan.
Well, and this blows my mind. I had posted in my Insta story the other day of like, can someone please tell me how, like, I had shared a scene, like a specific scene. Well, it's actually like a specific sequence of scenes that somebody put the video together, and I shared it on my Insta story and was like, can somebody please tell me how Team Lucas still thinks Lucas could be in game after this? Like, after seeing the entire town worried about Nathan, I don't remember what all I said right now, honestly, but anyway, and somebody responded to me and said, I don't want Elizabeth with another Mountie because he might die and break her heart again. And I'm like, okay, well, first of all, are we forgetting that Lucas almost got himself blown up earlier this season? Elizabeth almost got herself killed in the mine in season 2. As Jack said, you just proved being a school teacher is just as dangerous as being a Mountie. I'm like, when it's your time, it's your time. It don't matter what your job
Exactly.
is. And Jack did not die on in the line of duty. He died in a freak accident. And the
And
only
can we
reason
go
that
back to
happened,
this? The biggest reason that Jack died, period, was
the
because
only
Daniel Listing left the show.
reason.
If Daniel would not have left, guess what Elizabeth would be doing right now? She would be married to a Mountie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think Nathan has proven well that he is not Jack. That he is not going to leave. He's not going to leave and put himself in ultimate danger, like Jack has done several times. Yeah. I'm not saying that he's obviously going to go. He's going to go after people who've got guns and stuff like that. He knows that part of it. Like him going and asking for all these postings, like going to the Northern Territories and going to Fort Clay and going to all these other places, like outside of Hope Valley. No. Like, he goes
Nathan's hardly ever been gone compared to Jack.
I mean, if he does leave, it's for either because he's been asked to speak at a court hearing, or because he's having to go catch a prisoner who's been seen right outside of Hope Valley, and then
or he goes and captures and then he escapes again. Poor Nathan. Let me finish this up real quick, and then we'll go back to Nathan. But the person basically saying that they didn't want Elizabeth with another Mountie because he could die and break her heart. I'm like, you literally just admitted that it would not break Elizabeth's heart if Lucas died, which is admitting that she does not love Lucas the way she loves Nathan.
Pretty much.
Just say it. That is what you said.
I think Lucas has proven twice that he could have easily gotten himself killed, because he had the robbery with one of his old buddies that he cheated with the gambling thing, and almost got her and him both killed, by the way. But nobody wants to talk about that fiasco, do they? And then of course, the old Derrick. And I have to say, that old Derrick situation could have been totally preventable, because Gowan straight up told them, you're literally playing with dynamite. You can get killed. This has not had that many successful rates versus, death rates. Yeah. It's risky. He's flat out gave them that warning. And yet they still did it. And look what happened. They almost got killed. Yeah. So that goes ahead and proves to you that Lucas is just as risky as Nathan, because he didn't bat an eyelash to it. He wanted that oil to come out of that oil Derrick. And he was going to do whatever it took in order for it to happen.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree with you. Nathan has 100% proven, to me anyway, that he is not Jack. No. And that was something that stood out to me with Elizabeth offering him Jack's gloves and him turning it down.
Yeah. He does not want, he has no desire whatsoever to be Jack's replacement. He literally said one of the main reasons why he never confessed his love before to Elizabeth was because he didn't want to disgrace, he didn't want to, go against Jack's memory.
Betray Jack's memory, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't want to portray his memory. Yeah. He doesn't want to be little Jack's father. He doesn't want to be, he loves little Jack. I don't mean it like that. I mean that he does not.
He doesn't want to replace him. Yeah, Jack. He doesn't want to he would honor Jack's memory with little Jack. He would tell, always want to be sure he knew who his father was and what a brave man his father was, and raise him with the morals and the standards that Jack would have raised him with, because Nathan does have those same standards. Nathan is, I'll just say it, Nathan is a lot like Jack in a lot of ways. He has all of Jack's good qualities and then some. Between Jack and Nathan, I would take Nathan any day of the week.
I think we've been very clear. I feel like we've been very clear, especially on our lives and on our Instagrams. And I think we've even said it a couple of times here on this episode, not on this episode, but on this podcast, that we are more fans of Nathan than we are Jack. And we
love Jack. Don't take us wrong.
We love Jack. Honestly, the only thing that really I think makes me love Nathan more than I love Jack is because, Nathan doesn't put his job as an Mountie before Allie or before Elizabeth or anybody else that he cares about. Right. And I know Tim Lucas is like, well, what about the times he moved Allie all over the place and all that kind of stuff, and being the reason why she couldn't make friends. How many times did Nathan go straight up go even to Elizabeth and like, you understand how the Mounties work?
Mm-hmm.
It was literally out of his control when it came to that kind of stuff. Jack literally asked to be put in the Northern Territories. Deliberately asked to be sent to Northern Territories when he did not have to.
I think a lot of it for Nathan too was that he had never found his home. He was looking for some, quote unquote, he was looking for some place to hang his hat, and he had never found that until he got to Hope Valley and met the people that he met aside from Elizabeth.
And it also kind of gave me this vibe, and I'm going back to, I think maybe season 6, where Elizabeth started kind of telling Nathan that, you know, trying to help him, and he's like, we're fine. Because he thought that she was kind of going into like, oh yeah, you're fixing to just tell me how bad of a parent I am to her, and how, you know, I'm not a stable enough parent for her, and that I'm dragging her all over the place and like, you know, wrecking her childhood because of my job. Like, I don't need to hear this from you, you know. And then Elizabeth like knew that I feel like Elizabeth automatically could code into that and know that that's what he was automatically thinking. And then she's like, so we'll discuss with her what we expect of her in the classroom.
Can we just appreciate the fact that they've been co-parenting Allie since the start?
Literally the first episode. Episode. So
yeah, I love when he's like, we're fine, you know, whatever, starts turning around to walk off, and Elizabeth's like, so we'll do this, and this, right? He turns around almost like, woman, like, did you guys just hear it? But she does not at all.
Like, but y'all, I think that also really shook him, because he's like, wow, this is the first time I've ever had like a teacher or like a parent figure, which he did say that they were never in town, like in places long enough for them to even start, like even meet teachers or meet anyone else. Like they would literally be in town for like 2 or 3 days and then they'd probably leave because he'd get another posting or he didn't like the atmosphere. Like, I feel like Nathan would also be very good at, like, because obviously, for crying out loud, guys, he asked for the position of an inspector. It took him a while. He didn't get it at first. And then they call him back for it. He was asked to become an inspector. So that speaks volume to me. Because, like, you don't just become an inspector. You obviously have to, like, prove to the Mounties that you are capable of being.
Well, and that prestigious honor.
Jack's words, a prestigious and honorable position.
An honor, actually. Yeah.
An honor.
Yeah.
To train the recruits.
Was supposed to have.
Originally? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Nathan's first before it ever became Jack's.
Yeah. I mean, that speaks a lot to Nathan as a Mountie. I'm just saying, I think a lot of Nathan's credit as a Mountie has been downplayed.
And it also proves to you that you can be a very successful, very honorable, and noble Mountie while still not putting the Mountie's work before your family.
Mm-hmm.
That also said it to me. Mm-hmm. So now we don't know how Jack would have been after actually having little Jack. It probably would have shifted his entire view.
Possibly. I feel like Jack would have always been.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like
that
Mountie's
too. First in a lot of ways.
I feel like that too. Because, I mean, it was obviously like he was obviously little whenever his dad was still a Mountie. I mean, he was little when he died as in action. Mm-hmm. But yeah. So going back to the Schoolhouse again, before Minnie comes in and interrupts, which happens regularly in Hope Valley. The fact that you could clearly see that Lucas saw exactly where her eyes were whenever she was looking outside. I mean, because the homegirl straight up like
fell, poor guy.
Yeah, her face. I mean, she literally like just stops, like in her steps and just like gazes out the door as he just gallops through the down the road, just like
minding his own business, pressuring her from the other side of town,
straight up pressuring her, just straight up just being
will not leave her alone. I mean, no.
So distracting, so inappropriate, just constantly just like being like God's gift to the world.
Yeah,
Like,
which if y'all watched our last podcast, you would know.
he kind of is God's gift to the world. That's what his name means. So,
I'm never gonna get tired of that. I'm never gonna get tired of that.
I'm not either. Sorry, I'm trying to move my camera out of the way of my dog, who constantly wants to be in the camera.
But yeah,
I love that because it kind of like I feel like that also gave him some realization. Like, here I am, literally in this schoolhouse trying to have a conversation with you, and your eyes are still on him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm right here. I'm your boyfriend, and I'm standing right behind you, trying to have a conversation with you. But yet, you can literally stop in your tracks in the middle of working to gaze at him as he does not even know you're gazing at him, trotting along on his horse, doing his work as a Mountie.
Mm-hmm. Nathan, the man who is a distraction even when he doesn't have any intentions of inserting himself into the situation.
Literally does not even know that she probably doesn't even know that she is looking at the doesn't even know that she probably that
makes several. Okay, how many scenes does that make? Okay, the binocular scene where Lucas is literally standing right in front of her. And
he's not paying attention either. He's like literally just like gazing, trying to drink his coffee before he goes out in his
and then he's like and then
and she's like,
yeah. And then the darts scene with
she's using a mirror. Everyone's like, oh, that was just her, it bouncing off. Like, y'all, she was literally using a mirror to see where the darts go.
I still would have loved to have seen, and this would have totally been a Kevin move, I feel like. I still would have loved to have seen him take a drink of that beer after the dart.
Oh, Kevin would have totally did that. Kevin totally would have done that.
Oh, yeah. I could just picture that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I mean, there are a lot of scenes where Nathan is like nowhere around, not trying to insert himself.
Somehow she finds her way to him.
Like, and yet he's pressuring her, won't leave her alone. Like,
no, Team Lucas just they're grasping at whatever they can to twist and turn in Lucas's favor.
Yeah.
Let's see. Carson and the pudding. Oh my god. That was hilarious.
What are you doing? Having some dessert? He really loves
Claire's pudding.
He really does.
Minnie's face though, she was just like,
and Clara is like
like, we're not having that pudding today. Looks like I'm gonna have to make some new pudding because we obviously can't have that.
I wonder how many times an actor looks at a script and looks at the writers and goes, really? Like,
really? Really? This is what it's come to?
I'm sticking my hands in a bowl of pudding. This is the best we can do. Like, no, I mean, it does make for good comedy, guys. We're being sarcastic. It does make it for good comedy.
And then,
is that our little mascot?
Yes.
Hey,
buddy. Speaking of Carson and Faith, y'all, they were a hot mess this episode.
I have been Team Infirmary since before they got together. And at this point, I'm just like, y'all go your separate ways. Like,
y'all are a hot mess. Never mind. Like,
I
Carson
can't with y'all.
Like,
yeah.
Because he's freaking out over the ring and like needing to propose. And he's finally getting to propose because he's had this ring literally in his back pocket since Christmas. And which we obviously didn't see because we didn't get a Christmas episode this year. And then like Faith is over here worried because she thinks he's going to propose, and ultimately like she's dreading it. And we're like, what is up with you two? One's wanting so badly to propose, and the other one is just like dreading it because she knows it's coming.
And yet they're still saying they love each other, and it's like, would you make up your minds? Either you love each other and you want to be together, or you don't. Like,
yeah. And it's like my mom said today that we were on FaceTime and Kerri was like dying. But my mom said straight up, she was like, I'm irked at Faith. because Carson has been supporting her since the very beginning. Said that, helped her get, okay, first of all, he helps connect her to her father, urges her, says, no, you need to go take care of your father. You're finally reunited with him. Go take care of his father. So she goes, takes care of her father for a few months. Okay. Almost misses the last Christmas because of it. He doesn't care. He knows that it's something that Faith needed to do. He supported her. He loved her. Like he knows how important that relationship was to her to finally get back her relationship with her father. He's like, go. I love you. We'll make through the long distance. Then she confides in him about, having this dream about being a doctor. And he's like, I think you should do it. You're capable. You're an incredible nurse. We can make it work. Helps her go to Chicago. What does she do as soon as she comes back from Chicago? First of all, she rides up on a stranger's buggy. With another man complimenting her, saying like, and then like, it's just like been downhill literally since the first episode.
Yeah. It's like, again, I have been team Infirmary since, like, honestly, I think when I first saw it per se that I can remember is when Faith was planning Carson's birthday party, because it was so obvious she had a crush on him, and I'm like, this is so cute. Like, I don't remember. And I mean, if we remember back, Faith was one of the ones that was really encouraging Carson to get back into being a doctor and having that faith in him, and just kind of forgive yourself for what happened. What happened to your wife was not your fault.
Yeah.
Whatever. So, I mean, if we remember all that from their early stages of working together.
Yeah.
And it's like, since she came back, I mean, I still love Faith, don't get me wrong, but since she came back,
I love Faith. But it's definitely been a shift.
She's been a totally different person.
Yeah.
And it's just like, at this point, I don't even know. Like, I don't. Like, it's not that I want them to break up, but at this point, it is almost just kind of like, okay, Carson, go on your little 2-year fellowship, and when you get back,
I mean, like,
things will work itself out. But he's put everything on hold to be there for her. It's time he put himself first.
Yeah, exactly. He deserves to be put first. He deserves to have the woman that he loves support him. Like, I understand she doesn't want to leave Hope Valley, and obviously Hope Valley does need a doctor. They need someone to stay and be a doctor. I get that too, because that's probably one of the pivotal things. But at the same time, it's like she wants so badly to just make sure that she's not going to be like, he's not going to hate her for wanting him to stay and all that kind of stuff. So worried about like that instead of just supporting him. Because it's out of the question that she's going to leave and go with him. Like, it's out of the question, not going to happen. I'm staying here in Hope Valley. You can just forget it. I ain't doing it.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, really?
Yeah.
Really?
But that conversation between Carson and Lucas, though, I loved that so much. Like, that had me like this, just kind of.
But you pretty much just hear him talk himself out of proposing altogether. Like, didn't he even find the ring?
With how, nope.
I mean, he hasn't even found the ring, and it honestly sounds like he doesn't even care anymore about finding it.
Lucas pretty much said that.
Yeah, he doesn't even care about finding it anymore and proposing, because he just knows that he now knows that, like, she's not going to come with him. She's going to stay here in Hope Valley. They're
It's meant to be. We'll get together after I get back, whatever happens. But I think at this point he feels like they're not meant to be. And yeah.
And I hate that for Carson, because he really deserves someone who's going to support him, just like he's been supporting someone else. Like, he's been the biggest support. Like, he supports so many people. He was supporting Fiona with her, and there's so many other people in his life that, in Hope Valley, that he has completely just supported and gotten behind and helped, and,
I feel like there's a lot of storylines, honestly, that have kind of gone flat in a sense, but I think we've forgotten how impressive of a surgeon Carson was before he came to Hope Valley. Like, he was one of the few doctors who could perform this type surgeon. Like, he was a very very good.
Because we have to remember, procedures were very risky back in those days. Any kind of procedure was very risky back in those days. Like, that literally, like, if you watch on Grey's Anatomy, like, oh, this is a simple appy, or it's, oh, this is just like this, and this, like, nonchalant, like it's not a big deal. But if you kind of put it into context, like, it is a big deal, because at one point nobody knew how to do any of this.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
And it's just
so like, I mean, I feel like Carson deserves his moment in the spotlight, honestly.
And I think we all understand, like, it's Hopkins. Everyone can understand that Hopkins, even especially now, is still a very big deal.
Johns Hopkins, yeah.
So,
yeah.
he just I'm sorry, but I love Faith, but he deserves better than Faith. This is how she's going to treat him, as far as, you know, like, she's been pushing him because she knows that she, like, this is something he's been loving and wanting to do, and I get that part of it, but it's like, you won't even get a bit of chance.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just downright refusing from the get-go, I'm not leaving Hope Valley.
All right.
So that's the problem I have with it.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of deserving better, I feel like that's something that Team Lucas doesn't really understand about a lot of Team Nathan, is that it's not that we have a problem with Lucas, it's that it's very clear to us that she keeps getting drawn back to Nathan like a magnet. Mm-hmm. And we feel like Lucas deserves more than being second fiddle.
Mm-hmm.
And that we feel like he deserves somebody, I think you said it earlier, like, you know, if Fiona maybe telling him, I want you to talk to me. Like, I don't care about your stuff. I want you. I want you to, you know, share your deepest thoughts with me. I want you to share your heartbreaks with me. I want you to share your joys with me, you know, whatever. Whereas with Elizabeth, we're just like, they just get heat.
Like, here's flowers, here's a picnic date, here's a book from Virginia Woolf, here's this, here's that, like bye. And her obviously complimenting and saying, oh, Lucas, thank you so much, oh my gosh, how, like,
yeah.
But yeah, then her eyes draw to someone else, and it's just like, you know,
he deserves so much
better
more than that. And that's not a degradation to Elizabeth.
No, it's just how it is. That's her heart. That's her fighting her heart, though. She's trying to force something with Lucas. Like, I'm not saying she doesn't care about Lucas. I'm not saying that she doesn't have some type of love to her for Lucas, but it's not even close to the love that she has for Nathan. It's not. And she's scared of the fact of that, because I feel like there's that passion and there's that love and that desire that she had with, that was just like Jack. It's not better than what she had Jack. And it scares her to death, because she's like, I'm not even supposed to be loving anyone, especially this soon after him dying, especially this much. Like, I didn't expect myself to fall in love ever again, much less this soon, and much less this powerful. And she's scared to death. But like the love that she has for Lucas is kind of more of like her speed of what she thought was actually going to be like falling in love with another man.
But just a pleasant, friendly.
It's just pleasant, friendly. We can be husband and wife. It could be slow. It could be nonchalant. Not a big deal.
It can be you go to work and I'll go to work and bye.
And, love you. Kiss on the cheek. You know. No.
But nothing that her love for Jack.
Exactly. Not something that's going to overshadow her love for Jack. And I don't think necessarily her and Nathan's are going to completely overshadow. I feel like Nathan's going to make sure that she knows, like, I'm not trying to overshadow what you have with Jack.
Oh, no.
At all. I think he's going to really make sure she knows that. And her having to kind of reassure him that I don't see you doing that. I know that you're not trying to do that. I know that that's not the man that you are. But with Lucas, it's just it's literally just her using him. She's using him.
Yeah, I don't think intentionally, but
not intentionally.
Well, and I mean, like, we saw this again, quote unquote, her trying to force it, because I'm sorry if y'all don't agree with me, but her house does represent her heart, because home is where the heart is. She literally asked, when Lucas showed up at her house at the end of the episode, she literally asked him to come inside twice, and he wouldn't.
One time in a, like, freaking out, like, Lucas, please come inside. Like, please come inside.
Let's talk about this. Like,
inside.
Yeah. And he would not come in. She's invited him in several times, and he wouldn't cross
he wouldn't even acknowledge it. He would not even just say no or like or anything like that. He would either change the subject or just flat out just, you know, walk away.
Yeah. But I mean, props to Lucas. And I mean, Chris McNally, round of applause to Chris McNally. Dude, you killed that scene. I mean, he literally hit the emotion in his face. Looking like he may have been crying previous to this or was on the verge of tears or whatever. Props to Chris McNally. He killed it. Yeah. Like, dude, 100%. You made us feel that.
Oh yeah, my heart ached so much. It ached so much for that. Because I was like, you don't deserve this. You don't deserve this. You deserve to have a woman that will feel for you the way that Elizabeth is clearly feeling for Nathan. Mm-hmm. He deserves he never has to. He should never have to worry about there being another man. He should never have to worry about like trying to win or buy her love or try and like make sure her eyes are set on him because he's doing card tricks or whatever, like trying to make her attention is still on him. Like it should just be natural, and it should be something that is just like she literally can't imagine herself without him kind of love.
Yep. Somebody that makes him complete.
Exactly. Who he will like without hesitation just automatically want to share everything with her and him. And they just don't have that.
No, they don't.
It's very clear as day.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of Team Lucas says, there's, even if she does go to Nathan, that, she can still go back to Lucas. First of all, I don't see that happening just by the writers. But
my question is, why would you want to? Why'd you
I feel like at this point, I don't think Lucas would take her back, and honestly,
no, I don't think
he's tired of the games.
Exactly.
He's ready.
He said that he's setting her free.
Mm-hmm. Did you notice? Was it Angie that pointed it out? But then I went back and rewatched it. That when he said that, there was a breeze.
I didn't see that. I didn't. Yeah. I didn't notice that whenever I was watching it, but I'll definitely go back and watch it. But it's like I said in the group chat, I seriously was like, is that literally how you want his love story to go? Because think of it as like you looking at just Lucas and his life story. Take Elizabeth out, take Nathan out, take the whole triangle out, take the fact that we've only just now been just imagine Lucas has been the main character. Is that really how you want his love story to go? Him being literally her second choice because she goes to him. Like first she's like okay, let's just go ahead and say it. Kevin said the same thing. Oh, it looks like it's going to go one way and then it's going to go another way and then it's going to go back. The first way was Nathan because he confessed his feelings first. Okay, mind you, Lucas hasn't confessed his love for her.
Nor has she ever confessed feelings for Lucas, might we add.
Exactly.
She has.
So the second, it goes from this way. It looks like it's gonna go this way, but it's gonna go this way to Lucas, and then it's gonna go back to Nathan. Okay, imagine that's, and I think that's how it's gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna go back to Lucas. I'm just saying that because I don't want it to be like that for Lucas. I want Lucas to be literally the first and last choice, like the first and only choice for the girl he's supposed to be with. But like if you look at it as Lucas being the main character, it's like this woman comes into his life.
Very invested in Lucas's love story in future seasons. He is not with Elizabeth. Y'all are gonna see us very invested in that.
Oh yeah,
we love Lucas.
We love Lucas.
We've said it 100 times.
Like I want him Lucas. like because if you look at it like this woman comes in his life and just it's like a breath of fresh air to him, and he's like loves stories, loves reading, is a wonderful mother, and just has this way about her that's so refreshing. And like he even talked about how he couldn't quite read her, and he's usually very good about reading people, and I bet that was a challenge for him, and how like it excited him that he couldn't read her, and that like this is just this wonderful woman.
Elizabeth has been a challenge to Lucas this whole time.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's been a lot of what it is.
Yeah, and then like him seeing her, like then like watching her start having like these public displays, these moments with another man, in broad daylight in the middle of town
with everybody watching.
Yeah, and then she tells him like, you know, I don't want to be with him, I want to be with you, pretty much. And like he starts going on dates with her, gets even more excited and gets more like, you know, deeper into it. And then
honestly, that does not even sound like Elizabeth. That sounds like a player.
Yeah. See, because
like
you switch the point of view. Because you switch the point of view. When you switch the point of view, it changes everything. That's why my mom has always told me, always try and put yourself in that other person's shoes before you ever judge and before you ever make assumptions.
My mom always used to tell me and my brother to play role reversal, which we hated.
Yeah.
It did. It made you see what the other person was seeing and thinking and whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And because I mean, this like, and I feel like both teams need to do that for a quick second. Like I want Team Lucas to put themselves in Nathan's shoes, and I want Team Nathan to put themselves in Lucas's shoes. Like,
and can I just add, as long as we're saying this, that was actually an episode that we were going to try to do. That we were going to have a Team Lucas person, almost like kind of a debate, but almost I was like, okay, here's kind of how I would present it. You're the lawyer. It's not your job to believe your client. It's your job to gather the evidence, or to even like your client. As long as they're paying the bill, you don't even have to like them, you know. But it is your job to gather the evidence and present your evidence in court. That is literally all your job is. And we wanted to bring on a Team Lucas person to defend Nathan, to show everything, all the evidence for Nathan, and a Team Nathan person to defend Lucas and show all the evidence for Lucas. And not one Team Lucas person was willing to do it.
And we asked a lot of them.
On Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, and not one Team Lucas person was willing to do it.
We had a ton of Nathan people, and we've been explaining to them the job about switching roles and like trying to defend Lucas. And they were all for it. They were all for it. I think we only had one Team Nathan person that said that they wouldn't do it. And I think the person said that it was because they just couldn't do it. And that's understandable. Some people just, you know, but like not one Team Lucas person. Not one.
That's on 3 social media platforms.
Yeah, on every social
several
media
different
platform.
Accounts. Like we were both posting it. It wasn't just one or the other of us. It was both of us.
Yeah.
And it was like, for real? You know, I mean, like, you can't even. But anyway, to finish up with Lucas's little speech there, again, props to him on that move. But I love when he said, love isn't just an emotion, it's an act of will. It cannot be demanded or
forced.
What was it? Forced. It cannot be forced or demanded. And I feel like by him saying, love is not just an emotion, it's an act of will, I feel like he's saying, and what we've been saying, they have chemistry. We have never once denied that they have chemistry. You will never see us deny it.
They definitely have chemistry. And they definitely have it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But just the fact that, to me, he was saying, look, we have this connection here, but it's not enough.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a surface connection, to me, is basically what I saw him admitting in that. And okay, what's your expression? But
I can't wait until I can just sorry.
No, it's fine. But that, I loved that he said that. I do think we're gonna see a scene in episode 12 in the finale. I do think Elizabeth, well, we know Elizabeth and Lucas are gonna have a talk, because we see in the preview the little clip of the two of them talking in the cafe when she's like, what you said the other night, you were right. And they both look very serious, by the way. Neither one of them look all warm and fuzzy. And then we also know that she's going to talk to Nathan. And really curious to see what goes on. Guys, I'm not saying Lucas could not be picked at this point. I'm saying I see like a 1, maybe 2% chance of that. Like, seriously, I do not see it happening. And mostly because I feel like Lucas deserves more than that. Like the draw between Elizabeth and Nathan is so much greater, and there is such a deeper connection. Well, and saying the word connection, that's the word that Aaron and Kevin have both used to describe Nathan and Elizabeth's
a deep
relationship.
Connection.
Yeah, a deep connection.
Like, she used the word deeply like 3 times while describing like what she saw in both men, and she used that with only Nathan.
Mm-hmm.
The only connection, the only thing that she said that she thinks that the question was like what she thought was the best traits of both men for Elizabeth. Like, what was it about each man that really draws Elizabeth to them? And she literally only said about the book, about the fact that she supports the fact that Lucas supports Elizabeth in her writings and stuff, and which is very important to her. And then she goes to Nathan and starts talking about how they share a common loss, and that they feel things very deeply, and they care very deeply, and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, girl,
he's very protective of her,
very protective, which I
blah,
absolutely
blah, blah.
love.
And it's just like, okay.
I'm pretty sure we just found out one.
Yeah. Yeah.
But going back to that, I think it also speaks volumes, like her saying that you can't be demanded or forced. I think that speaks to them, because Lucas has been kind of demanding it in a way, and Elizabeth has been trying to force it because she's running away from Nathan.
And I'm sorry to Team Lucas, who says that Lucas has never pushed her at all. Who was the one that was going on about, I'd really like to hold your hand right now, but whatever.
If this was a date, I would hold your gaze a little bit longer.
I'm sorry, but if anybody has pushed her boundaries, it has been
every
Lucas.
time that Nathan has asked her on a date. Every time that he has asked her on a date, it's like, you let me know when you're ready.
And
he did that at least 3 times.
I will say, I feel like Nathan should not have repeated the invitation as many times as he did. I do feel like that might have been slightly pushy. Like, that got on my nerves. As much as I love Nathan, that got on my nerves that he kept asking her that much. But at the same time, I get it. But I don't know. Like,
well, I think he shouldn't have to.
Yeah, that is true.
She should have been coming to him at that point, because she's the one who even said, "You want to know how I came about being in Union City with Lucas?" He asked. Well, guess what, chick? Nathan asked you 4 times. So where did it go now? And then when you finally agree, hell of a short scares you half to death and makes you leave.
I don't know. Like, I don't feel like Elizabeth has Lucas to hide behind anymore.
Nope.
She's kind of been using him as a shield in a
and
way.
Kevin and Aaron have both said in interviews that there's a outside force that is keeping them apart. There's outside forces that are keeping them apart.
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't see Lucas being willing to go there. Again, I feel like he has seen too much. He knows. Like, apparently, Nathan knows and Lucas knows. Apparently,
but Elizabeth has no clue.
Like, girl, wake up. Oh, my word. I cannot wait to see what happens in the finale. I just say it. Like, it's going to be a very intense episode.
And we actually have a very exciting podcast episode coming after the finale that I think you guys are all going to be very, 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 very excited to see.
Yes. I'm not even going to be in town for that. Like, I'm going to be in a hotel room. Fingers crossed that the TV has Hallmark Channel. If it doesn't, I can.
You can watch on the friendly app.
I do that. I'll try to figure out some way of watching it. Either that, or I'm going to make Morgan FaceTime me the entire time, and, and let me watch it that way. Hey, I've done it with friends.
Yeah, but the problem is I watch it on my phone because my laptop half the time doesn't work.
But anyway, that I'm not even going to be in town.
Yeah.
For that. My grandmother said that she feels sorry for whoever is going to have the hotel room next to mine next Sunday night.
She's going to get a phone call from the front desk. You have a noise complaint? Or like, ma'am, are you okay? It says people have been saying you've been screaming. Okay, are you okay?
So if I have to get up in the middle of next week's podcast and go answer the door, there's a cop at the door. Y'all will know why. Oh my word.
That'll be very interesting for the podcast. Right? Seeing you get arrested.
Who's gonna come bail me out?
I'm broke, honey. I'm sorry. Hey, Nathan will be very proud of you. He got locked up in jail. So,
yep. Actually, what's funny about saying that, I would not seriously do this, y'all. But like I'm leaving town this week to go to a Hearties event.
It's gonna be Brian Bird.
Hopefully. But there is a fundraiser for the movie that I worked on last year the next weekend. Well, I'm going to be in the area visiting some friends for a couple of days, but I'm broke and can't afford to stay in a hotel for like those extra 4 days or whatever to be there. But it's also not worth driving home and driving back for, because it's like an all-day drive. So when I was talking to our producer about it, and I'm like, I want to be at the fundraiser, but I don't know if I can, whatever, telling him why, he was like, what you do is get yourself arrested and then have somebody come bail you out for Saturday. That is such a guy answer. Like, that is such a guy. I would not seriously do that, guys. I would not do that. But I'm like, I was cracking.
It'd be funny.
Like, no, it wouldn't. You would not seriously think it was funny if I did. Oh my word. Guys, we get a little random on here. Yeah. Or I get a little random. I will just take credit for my own self here. I get a little random on here. I have a random brain. I can't help myself.
But yeah, that's it, guys. I think we've covered the whole episode, haven't we? Oh, wait. So. Mr. Landis.
Yeah.
Mr. Landis. Guys, there's a possibility that Elizabeth might lose the school.
I just don't see that happening.
I don't see it happening. For like a split second that she's going to think that she lost the school and that's it. But I will say that the whole Mr. Landis thing, I wonder if that's the reason why Minnie has been so overly protective about Angela and like her not really wanting Elizabeth to teach her, and that's the reason why Angela has been taught by her mom and everything. Because if everybody remembers, like, Minnie was not having it.
Oh yeah.
And then so yeah. Yep.
So are we ready?
Time for
heart to heart with the Hearties.
Heart to hearts.
All right. Let me see. These are like really weird sometimes to try to read off.
Well, a lot of times we do when we put it on our Instagram story for everyone to kind of put in there. Kerri has been putting like photos from the episode. Well, this photo for this episode was Nathan and Elizabeth with the red surge.
So, I seriously wasn't trying to be a distraction, y'all. I was just picking a clip from a pivotal moment in the episode. That was
but that clip, like, you know how we are, especially on Team Nathan. Like, we were all over here like fanning ourselves, sweating.
Yeah.
Need to go take a cold shower.
Yeah.
Like,
okay, I have it up now. Sorry, I was looking at it wrong. So at Style and Glam with Kayla says this scene was everything, referring to the opening scene. You are not going to get an argument out of us, Kayla. Like, just saying. At Lily2727 says, OMG, you can just feel the love between them and it just happens. No forcing anything. Exactly.
Yep. That's what I said. Lillian Rondanini, most surprising and hot scene. Did she shake her head because of Jack or her emotions?
Her emotions, definitely. That
I feel like a little bit, maybe both, because I will say this scene, Lucas had been talking about how she just got caught up in missing Jack and his red search. I can kind of see where they could think that, but I think it's more of her emotions. Maybe a little bit of Jack, but more of her emotions.
I felt like it was more reminiscing than living in the past, though.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Wayne calls the Heartogram, says, does he ship Robert and Allie? I think is what she was trying to mean. I think that I don't think he necessarily doesn't like. I don't think he necessarily ships anyone. I think he just wants Allie to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
And if that means being with Robert, then obviously you can't have anything wrong with Robert. I mean, Robert's a good kid.
Yeah, he knows what a good kid.
He knows what a good kid Robert is, and like he's got a good head on his shoulders. Crying out loud, he wants to be a Mountie. Can't argue with that.
No.
You want?
Sure. At Dawn_Marie_47 just says OMG in capital letters and a bunch of emojis. I think you just took the word right out of everybody's mouths, pretty much.
Yep. Jaw drop, like jaw. After the very last, whenever that scene was going on, I was like. And then after Lucas's whole speech, I was like, literally came on our live, like with my jaw like hanging open because I could not believe that Lucas just did what he did.
Mm-hmm. Our friend Lydia.
Go
ahead.
Insert GIF of Kronk. Oh yeah, it's all coming together. Anybody knows what Kronk is from The Emperor's New Groove. So,
Jinx, soda.
Guys, I'm gonna go broke buying this child sodas.
Child? I'm a year older than you.
Julie. Julie.Rame says, I'm so scared. Y'all don't be scared. Like, we've gotten so many people that have been needing us to like give them therapy sessions.
People who literally told us we need to start charging for therapy because we have, what did you have, like 50 people messaging you one day and we were like,
I think it was either after episode 2. Maybe not. No, because I don't even think we were doing the podcast yet after episode 2.
Oh, no.
Oh, it was after the dates.
Oh, yeah.
The pivotal dates episode.
Yeah.
And I was like, if anything, that made me even more confident in Nathan.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, they were literally having conversations about Nathan on their dates.
Yeah. Here's what I would say if you're scared. First of all, like, I realized, was it? I think it was a Hardy Detective I was messaging this morning because she was commenting how many Team Nathan people are still scared that Lucas is going to be the one chosen. And I'm like, she was like, I don't understand. Like, do they not see? Of course, she like breaks everything down to the nth degree. So she's like, how do they not see this stuff? And I said, they see it. They're terrified.
Acknowledging it.
The writers they even acknowledge it. They're just terrified that the writers are gonna ignore everything and do a twist.
Oh, okay.
And like just out of the blue pick Lucas. And I'm like, first, she's like, that makes no sense. And I said, I know, but fear is irrational. And I'm like, I get it, but at the same time, it does not make any sense. So
it's like I told someone today, she's like, how are you so sure about it? Like, what is it that is making you be able to watch these scenes and not get scared about Nathan not being it? We never said that we didn't have rocky moments where we're like, I mean, I had it one time, I think, and I can't remember it anymore. And I think that I look back at it now and I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have even worried about it. But
what episode was it that we said that was the first time we were honestly nervous that Nathan might not be the one that was chosen? But
it was after the episode where you said that Lucas really started showing that he could be a leading man. It was after because he talked to Allie and he had a really nice discussion with Elizabeth in the schoolhouse. And
but I think we both said though that episode was the one episode that's ever made us nervous that Nathan might not be chosen, but that ironically, depending upon how you viewed it, the same things that could make you nervous could also be the same things that would encourage you.
Yeah. Well, I think
so it just depends how you view it.
Well, it's like I told this one girl, she was just wondering, she's like, how is it that you're so confident that he's going to be the one to do it? And I'm like, I just can't I just have to always go back to the Hallmark formula. And it's like, Elizabeth never said that she did not love Nathan back. She said that she couldn't. And she also said that she couldn't bear losing Nathan the way that she lost Jack, which spoke volumes to me, because obviously her losing Jack hurt so badly because she loved him. She cared about him. That was her husband. So for her to compare her losing Jack to her losing the possibility of her losing Nathan, with the fact that Nathan wasn't even her husband, isn't her husband, they haven't even been dating yet she still compares that.
Neither one of them have even confessed feelings for each other at this point. Like, she's actually kind of making a bold statement there in a way, because
everyone wants to talk about how Nathan came out of left field with his confession. Like, she kind of came out of left field with her comparison of Jack.
Well, I guess in a way, like, Nathan had asked her out at that point, so I guess she wasn't completely out of left field saying that. But still, like, there had never been any, I think I'm falling for you, any kind of conversation like that.
Yeah, exactly. There was no they hadn't even been able to go on their date, though.
Right.
So it's like, and I also, like, she ran away in fear. All of this is being done by fear. And so far, Elizabeth, as far as my knowledge, she has not conquered her fear yet. She has not gotten over her fear. That fear is still there. And that's not how Hallmark rolls.
That Kevin McGarry kiss might knock that fear right out of her.
We can still hear that. I'm not being secretive by saying that. And I fully agree with you. Lord Jesus, help us.
Y'all pray for her putting up with me. Just saying, y'all pray for her.
Hey, you put up with me in a lot of ways, especially in our lives. But yeah, she has. And my thing is, I feel like Lucas's speech was not a way. I mean, I feel like he slightly kept the door like cracked for her to maybe come in and prove herself to Lucas that she loves him and doesn't love Nathan. But my biggest thing from Lucas's speech was that he was letting her go.
Well, and what was it? He said that while I'm not resentful, whatever, and I'm like, yeah, this sounds like somebody that's taking this like a champ. Like, can you honestly see Nathan, if the roles have been reversed, of him being so calm over? No, Nathan would be devastated. Like, Lucas is upset. Naturally, he's upset. Nathan would be devastated. And
like, have we missed the fact? Like, somebody Susan Firth reposted the events from whenever Elizabeth left with Union to Union City with Lucas. You guys, the whole town was walking on eggshells around Nathan.
He even said it. Like, we're not. He even
said it. Like, I don't want this whole town walking on eggshells around me. I don't care. They can go wherever they want, do whatever they want. Obviously lying straight through his teeth.
Yeah, he said that. They're adults. They can do what they want, go where they want. Sure.
And Bill's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Sure, buddy. Sure.
Just suddenly got the urge to top some wood.
Like, Lee straight up said, big question is, who's going to tell Nathan? And Rosemary had her face like,
ooh,
not me. And like, Molly and Florence, they were like, they didn't know what to do. They didn't know what to do. Because they weren't about to be the ones to spill the beans. Not them. For what?
Then Allie comes in. Uncle Nathan, if you knew something that might upset someone, would you tell them or would you keep it to yourself? And he just finally
lays his head down, leans back and he's like,
all right, give it to me. I'm like, all right, come on, what's going on? Even you, what's going on?
And then cue the wood chopping.
Yeah.
But like, go back and then you see Elizabeth holding little Jack and like at the fruit stand and everything like that, and they obviously walk up and like Allie's trying to get him out there because she obviously knows that it's been very painful to watch the whole encounter. But y'all, his voice, like, y'all want to talk about a voice crack?
His voice was so tense in that scene.
He had a serious voice crack. You had to be completely deaf not to hear that voice crack in that whenever he said welcome back. And her face just drops. And she looks at, like, when she watched him walk away, like, oh, shoot. Like,
yep.
As if she didn't know that he was going to find out that she literally went to a whole nother city with Lucas. She really thought that was just going to go under the radar.
Overnight.
So, yeah. And I'm sorry, but I don't see her having that face to Lucas.
Yeah. Guys, but I mean, even, and here's what was said, even if she chooses Lucas, she cannot do it in fear.
Nope. She's got to conquer that fear first.
Yep. She's got to
conquer. And the fear is of her losing him. That's the fear of loving him and then losing him. So how else is she going to conquer that fear?
Well, she loves it. Takes the chance. What was it she said? Our biggest risk is possibly never experiencing our greatest joy.
Yeah. Because of the fear. Yeah.
Oh, and that preview, like Team Lucas is saying this was an editing trick, whatever, to make us think that she's going to choose Nathan. Well, I have to say that was not an editing trick in that particular preview with that quote that I just mentioned, and it's showing her and Nathan in that preview. Just saying, but that in the preview for the finale, that Elizabeth is talking to Rosemary, and Rosemary tells her, people come into our lives, some for a season, and who's in view, and to Lucas, some for a lifetime.
Pants Nathan. Jake's buy me a soda.
I was just gonna let you do it. I started to, but
I'm trying, guys. I'm trying.
I'm gonna have to buy her a soda when we get together, just for the heck of it.
Y'all gonna see me post on Instagram of her like 10 glasses of soda in front of her. Like, I'm slowly knocking them down.
But yeah, I don't know. And like, people are trying to say that the Canadian preview, it shows more scenes and that it doesn't, that it's more in Lucas's favor. And I'm like, no. Like, it still shows her, like it said in that one, like I think the first part of what Rosemary was said was cut off in our version of it, because in the Canadian version she says, people come into our lives, some for a reason, pan to Lucas, some for a season, pan to Nathan, some for a lifetime, pan to Elizabeth standing out, like walking up to the Mountie office, which is still Nathan. So quit trying to say it's not. But anyway, I don't know. Y'all give us your thoughts. We're just giving ours. As we said at the very beginning of this, y'all do not come here for sugarcoating. Y'all do not come here for sanity or political correctness. I don't think political correctness is quite the right word, but I don't know what other term to use here. Y'all are just gonna kind of get it when we say raw and unedited, guys.
But like, this is exactly how our lives are. If you watch our lives on Instagram, this is literally how we are.
Oh yeah.
Like, we might be a little bit more uniform than we are on our lives.
Yeah,
but that's only because we don't have
our lives are more chaotic because we don't have Angie and Lydia and Nicole and Crinny and Amy over there egging us on with their commentary. Love y'all. But yeah. But yeah, y'all let us know kind of what your thoughts are on this. Remember to keep it nice. We have no problems with people being Team Lucas. I have no problem with that. Well, and I feel like a lot of Team Lucas possibly is kind of like what we said of at this point, we're Team Nathan, not even so much Team Nathan and Elizabeth. We're just Team Nathan at this point. Yeah. Like, we just want to see Nathan happy. And I feel like a lot of Team Lucas may be that way as well. And we love Lucas too. So in that particular way, we are Team Lucas. But as far as the triangle goes, we would say we're Team Nathan. But we have no problems with you being Team Lucas. But we will
just not going into no attacking each other, no putting each other down. If you want to defend Nathan, do it in a way that's not like sending hate towards Lucas. Like, oh, well, at least Nathan doesn't do this like Lucas does, or blah, blah, blah. Like Nathan is such a, blah, blah, blah. Like, don't bring up the other person's character. Just say the reason why I'm Team Nathan is because Nathan has done this. Nathan does this. Nathan does this. Like, Elizabeth is this way when she's around Nathan. Don't bring the other character down in order to state your case. Right. There's no need for that.
Or the actors or the writers. Because, I mean, I've said it before, do y'all realize how stinking brilliant the writing is to keep us on our toes this long? Like, and we're still...
It could still go either way, guys. It could still go either way.
It would be a shock if it did.
I mean, it would be a shock if it's not Nathan for us. But I mean, I feel like Team Lucas would also feel the same way, because it's just that's our team.
Yeah, which is why we are going to recap. No matter who wins, we are going to go back and recap the triangle and just kind of go from there. Because either way, people are going to be asking questions, and I feel like
what did we miss?
Yeah, I feel like season 9. On like, is it like maybe January 1st or January 2nd that people will post on Facebook and say, welcome back to all the people who said they were going to give up Facebook for one of their New Year's resolutions. I feel like if Nathan wins come season 9, we need to say, welcome back to all the Team Lucas fans who said they would stop watching it. Or vice versa. Welcome back to all the Team Nathan fans who said that they wouldn't watch again. Or because I mean,
I can't stop watching this show. I can't stop watching the show. I don't just watch the show. Like, your problem is like if you stop watching the show, you never started watching the show for the other than the team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, plain and simple. I watched the show because I love the stories of all of the characters: Clara and Jesse, Fiona, Faith, Carson, like Henry, Abigail, even still. I mean, like, there's still so much that could happen.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, and somebody pointed this out about Elizabeth's behavior, because I know that has been a lot of the struggle for people this season.
Yeah.
But, we've been focusing on the grief side of it and whatever. And I did not remember who it was. In all honesty, Morgan might remember. I don't. But who it was that commented on one of our posts one time. And was like, basically, has it ever kind of, she's seen this in real life, so kind of that her behavior being off might also be due to the fact that she's with the wrong person. So she's not happy.
Oh, man, I can't remember.
She was trying to force something. I keep wanting to say it was Angie, but I don't feel like it was Angie. Was it maybe Lillian?
I think it was Lillian.
It might have been Lillian. I don't remember for sure who it was.
I can't remember.
But it was just kind of I've never thought of that before. Like, I have literally never thought of that before. But that
I mean, it kind of goes back to, like, as my mom's even said, you know, you start acting around like the people that you hang around. You start portraying their habits and their thoughts and their views on things. You know, you start getting
you notice everything with Lucas.
It's influences, like your influences. You know, that person's influence over you starts changing your character and how you are and your attitude. And yeah.
Have you noticed that everything with Lucas draws her away from the town, or from her friends, or from her son, or whatever? Whereas with Nathan, literally everything they do is about the town. You know, literally everything they do is in public,
about the town, about Allie, little Jack. You know, Jack.
So that's a big thing for me, is I just don't feel like Elizabeth's story needs to go in such an introverted way, I guess, because that's never been her story. It would be a complete 180 from everything they've done up to this point for her story to go that way.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Everyone says, talking about, like, you know, like, we don't want her with a Mountie. Like, guys, the books were literally about her being a school teacher and a Mountie. This series was based off of books all wrapped around a school teacher and a Mountie. Now, yeah, they could have changed things up, and they could have made it to where she was with she ends up with Lucas, and they want to get away from the Mountie stuff, but I don't see that.
Yeah. I mean, if she does, I'll be interested to see what the writers come up with. Like,
exactly.
I'll be like, oh, wonder what they're going to do with that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's going to be torture to me being at this Hearty event before the finale. Like, that is going to be torture. Like, standing there talking to Brian Bird, and the finale's the next day. Like, yeah, that's going to be torture.
Yeah. Glad it's you and not me.
And guys, if I'm not really responding to messages and stuff this week, I'm sorry. I have been insanely busy. And like this Saturday, the event that I'm going to, like, literally it is all day of events. And when I say all day, I mean the last event starts at 10 o'clock at night, all day type, you know. So I am probably not going to be on my phone that much. I will try to be taking pictures or little videos or whatever, and I'll try to put something together for y'all from that. But we'll just see what happens. But I can't believe we've only got one more episode of this season.
Yeah, this will be the last podcast until we find y'all. This is the last podcast episode of us not knowing who she picks. Right now, we don't know who she picks. But the next podcast you guys see, we'll know who she picks. That's so surreal, because we've been literally just like,
I know. What are we going to think about after this is over? Like, Winkles the Heart has been consuming everybody's minds. The Winkles the Heart has turned people into private investigators, I swear.
Like, we're going to be investigating, like I'm staying away from the news.
Right?
And like I hate politics.
Same.
Politics. So I'm gonna stay away from the news, because I'm kind of worried that maybe When Calls the Heart turned me into one of those investigators with conspiracy theories and stuff. But yeah, that's it, guys.
We love y'all so much.
We love you guys. Again, thank you for putting up with our craziness. Thank you for putting up with probably another like 2-hour episode.
Probably.
So we didn't put a timer on again, because we're like, you know what? It's no point.
It's gonna be as long as it's gonna be.
It's no point.
If y'all want to listen to it, you can listen to it. If you don't, you don't have to. We're doing this. If you want to
fast forward, whatever.
Yeah, we're doing this because we have fun doing it, and the people that actually want to listen to it will stay on our lives for 3 and 4 hours at a time. So this is like a condensed version for them. So
yeah. Like, we literally have them messaging us, like, I'll be like typing in the comments, like in the middle of video, and like trying to comment on what you guys are doing. And I remember it's not live, and I had to like backtrack. and it's like, we're sorry.
Yeah.
But we might have something special for you guys coming up to where you guys can. So.
Yeah. But anyway.
But there's so much more excitement.
Cheers, Morgan. All right, guys. We love y'all. Thank y'all so much. Yeah. She's one up to me. She has food. I gotta go get me some food. Anyway. All right,
guys. We love you. We hope that you guys enjoy this finale just as much as us. Get crazy, get loose, and get excited because we are coming back with an even better podcast episode. So we might have some guests, some crazy commentary as always. So get excited. We love you guys.
Crazier than always, if that's possible. Woo! Y'all better buckle up.
Yeah. We hope this week goes by fast for you guys, and that next thing you know, it's gonna be Sunday, and we're all just gonna have a lot of fun. At the end of the day, this is Hope Valley. No matter who she chooses, we're still gonna watch it. We're still gonna love it. We're still gonna support Elizabeth, Nathan, and Lucas.
Yep.
So.
100%.
All right, guys. Bye.
Bye.